Okay, hi everybody. And so today I'm going to be talking about polymorphism and abstraction. These are two more topics that have very much to do with object-oriented programming. Okay, so we're going to talk about polymorphism, say why we want to have this idea and what it is. And then I'll show you an example with the home hub that uses multiple inheritance. So polymorphism, let's get to the definition, but it just means that a class is inheriting from two places or more. And then we'll talk about abstraction, why we do that, and define it, and give an example with the pizza app. And then another example of the same app that has the idea of reuse. So we can take that app, and when we've got the idea of abstraction, we can actually reuse it to do a completely different app. From the user's point of view, from the coding point of view, it's using the same code pretty much. Okay, so let's look at the motivation behind these ideas. So last week we created we talked about inheritance, and we created a dimmable light that inherited from the light class. So we had a light class that we could switch on and off, and then we had a dimmable light that was, in addition to that, could be turned up or down. And because they have the dimmable light has all that on and off functionality, in order to save ourselves from code writing, we were able to implement that by inheriting all the stuff that we'd created for the light class into our dimmable light, and so saving having to write all that code over again. We've also got a number of other classes that can be switched on and off and have a setting changed up and down. So we've got things like the heating in this Home Hub app. We've got the heating that can be switched on and off and can be turned up or down. We've got the music player, can be switched on and off, and the volume can be turned up and down. We've got the oven, and so on. And it's even possible that we could have a device that's always on, but with a setting that could be changed, like a smoke alarm. I mean, they don't normally have volume controls, but you can imagine something that would always be switched on, but you can adjust some setting inside it. Okay, and so potentially we've got devices that are either switchable on and off, like the lights, or we've got devices that are switchable and settable, like the spotlight and the heating and the music and the player and the oven. They're all have both those functionalities. Or we might even have some devices that are just settable. And what we could do is create a base class with all those methods. So we could create a base class that say everything inherits all that stuff. But in programming, it's generally better to minimize the opportunities for errors. So then if you had one base class that did everything, that would mean you'd have to tell lights that they couldn't be settable, or you'd have to tell the smoke alarm that it couldn't be switchable on and off. So it would have that functionality in it, but it wouldn't be needed. So that brings potential for errors when you're programming. So instead, we're going to create two base classes called switchable and settable. Okay, so one will control things that are switched on and off. One will control things that are set up or down. And then we'll create devices that will inherit from either of those classes. So the lights will just inherit from the switchable class. The smoke alarm would inherit from the settable class, and all the other things would inherit from both of them. And that's the key issue about what is polymorphism and why do we need it. It's being able to inherit from two classes at the same time. And so I'll finish the video here, and then we'll get on to a definition and see how it works.